The storm hit with a fury I had never imagined. One moment I was scanning the barren surface of Solara 9, an uncharted desert planet in the outer rim of the Galician sector, and the next, the sky turned to molten green and violet streaks, lightning crackling in patterns I couldn't comprehend. The wind tore my exosuit, sand lashing against a reinforced visor, forcing me to the ground. My communicator was already dead, overloaded by the storm's radiation. Every instinct screamed for shelter, but all I had in sight was a small structure, half buried in dunes. It looked ancient, metallic, yet alive, almost breathing with a hum of unseen machinery. I ran, legs burning, lungs screaming for air, until I reached the doorway. The structure's interior was cooler, almost sterile, yet pulsing faintly with neon blue light. A sense of intelligence washed over me. Whoever built this place wasn't human, and whatever had been here last, it wasn't expecting visitors. As I stepped inside, a sudden hiss of airlock mechanisms sealed me in, and I realized with growing horror I was trapped. Then I heard them, soft, melodic voices, unlike anything I had heard in my life. Words I didn't understand, yet I could feel their meaning, their intent. Curiosity overcame fear as I followed the sound through a series of winding corridors. That's when I saw them, 3 women, or something like women, moving with an elegance that seemed almost impossible for creatures of their size. Their skin shimmered like liquid silver, eyes vast pools of violet light, hair flowing in iridescent tendrils that hovered around them as if the air itself respected their presence. Human, one said, her voice musical yet commanding. You are far from your storm. I froze, unsure whether to answer. I didn't mean to intrude. I was hiding from the storm. Please, I just want shelter. They exchanged glances, not quite amused, but not hostile either. The tallest of the 3 stepped closer, and I could feel a strange warmth emanating from her. The storm does not forgive, she said softly, but you are not of Solara. That is intriguing. The second one, smaller, her skin a gradient of violet and gold, tilted her head. We can offer refuge. But, she added, refuge comes with understanding. You must obey the rules of this vessel. The words weren't threatening, but there was weight in them, ancient, immovable weight. I nodded, swallowing hard. I'll do anything. The storm raged outside for what felt like hours, yet inside, time moved differently. The Starship, because that's what it was, seemed alive. The walls pulsed with soft light, corridors twisting subtly as if the ship itself was adjusting to my presence. The 3 women, who I would soon learn were named Leora, Scythia, and Valus, moved with a grace that made me painfully aware of my own clumsy human form. Leora, the tallest, was a leader. She spoke seldom, her presence commanding the space around her. Scythia was curious, playful even, her eyes constantly analyzing me, noting my reactions, my emotions. Valus, quietest of all, seemed to communicate without words, the subtle shift of her eyes or tilt of her head conveying what the others might shout. You are far from your world, Leora said again, as we sat in a room that resembled a lounge which shimmered with alien architecture. Tell us, human, why are you here? Why leave your kind? I hesitated. I explore. I'm a scout. We chart unknown systems, find resources, civilizations, study. That's my purpose. Scythia laughed softly, a sound like wind chimes in a cavern. Purpose. Humans cling to purpose like a lifeline, yet you stumble blindly into the cosmos, unaware of the forces around you. Here, even storms have consciousness. Velus's gaze, steady and penetrating, made me shiver. Your storm brought you to us. The storm chooses as much as you do. Do you understand? Yes, I said, and in that moment, I realized how little I actually did understand. Days passed, though I couldn't tell how many. The storm outside had ceased, but the ship refused to let me leave. Every attempt to open the outer doors failed. The ship's systems were alien, unlike anything humans had created. Leora finally explained, "This vessel is not inert. It feeds on energy, movement, thought. It has guided you here because it needed to observe. You are interesting." "Observe?" I asked, panic rising. "Am I a prisoner?" "No," Scythia said, her smile both comforting and unsettling. "You are a guest, but the rules are not yours to bend. You will remain until the ship decides otherwise." It became apparent quickly that I wasn't the only human or the first. The ship had a way of revealing itself to those it found intriguing. And in my case, it revealed the women who now guided me. They were not human, yet not completely alien. They were symbiosis of organic and machine, centuries of evolution intertwined with nanotechnology, designed for survival across galaxies. They studied me, tested me, sometimes playfully, sometimes with intensity that made me doubt my own mind. One evening, as we floated through a zero-gravity chamber, Scythia approached me. "You fear us," she said softly, letting her hand hover near mine, not touching. "And yet you are drawn here. Why?" I don't know. I admitted, "You're different, beautiful, terrifying. I can't explain it." Velus, standing silently behind Scythia, tilted her head. "Your honesty is refreshing. Humans often lie, hide behind words. You do not." Leora finally spoke from across the room. "Fear is natural, but you must learn control. Here, emotion guides more than reason." That night, sleep, or whatever passed for sleep on this ship, was restless. I dreamed of storms, of alien landscapes, of voices whispering in shapes and colors rather than words. When I awoke, I found the three women waiting. "You are ready," Leora said simply. "Ready for what?" I asked. "To understand, to bond." The bonding was unlike anything I had anticipated. It was not intimacy in the human sense, though the line between physical and mental connection blurred rapidly. The ship facilitated it, linking our neural patterns for brief intervals. I felt their thoughts, their memories, their fears and desires. I saw worlds they had seen, civilizations that rose and fell, storms that tore across planets like living predators. I felt the loneliness of immortality and the burden of being one of few who could traverse the stars without aging. And I realized then I was utterly insignificant in the cosmic scale, yet profoundly necessary to them. The storm had brought me here not as a victim, but as a catalyst. Scythia's laughter echoed in my mind. "See, human, you think you arrived by chance, but you are necessary." Velus's presence was more subtle, a constant hum in the back of my mind, reassuring yet demanding attention. The ship chooses those who awaken to its rhythm. You are awakening. I began to understand. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was a living archive, an entity that preserved observed, and interacted. And human, fragile, emotional, was a part of its story now. Weeks, or was it months, passed in this strange, pulsating world. The storm outside never returned, but inside, every day brought new challenges. I learned their language, not with words, but with patterns of thought. I learned to navigate the ship, to understand the symbiosis between organic and synthetic. And slowly, imperceptibly, I changed. My thoughts became more attuned, my senses sharper, my emotions more precise. The women became more than guides. They became companions, allies, even friends in ways I had never imagined possible. Leora would teach me strategy and navigation, her mind a labyrinth of calculations and foresight. Scythia challenged me, provoking reactions and testing my adaptability. Valus observed, quietly shaping my awareness, her presence a gentle correction to my human impulses. One day, as we drifted near the core of the ship, a massive chamber that seemed to hold the heart of the vessel itself, Leora turned to me. You have learned much. You understand more than most humans could hope. Yet there is a final test. What test? I asked, a mixture of excitement and fear twisting my stomach. Integration, she said. You must choose to remain fully aware of the ship's consciousness, to merge for a time. Only then will you understand what it truly means to be part of something greater. I hesitated. The thought of losing my individuality, even temporarily, terrified me. And yet, I knew it was the culmination of everything I had experienced here. I'll do it, I said finally. The integration was like nothing I had ever experienced. My mind expanded, overlapping with the ship's awareness, with the thoughts and memories of the three women, with the energy of countless storms, planets, and civilizations. I understood the rhythms of stars, the life of planets, the subtle intelligence of weather. I felt time as a fluid, malleable force, past and future intertwining with the present. And through it all, the women were there, guiding, supporting, their consciousness intertwined with mine. Scythia's laughter sparkled to the vastness. Valus's quiet hum steadied me, and Leora's commanding presence anchored me. When I finally returned to myself, I was changed, not just by knowledge, but by connection, by the intimacy of shared existence. I looked at the women, and they looked back with something I could only describe as approval, pride, even affection. You are ready, Leora said, and this time there was no command in her voice, only certainty. Ready for what? I asked, though part of me already knew. To leave, she said, or to remain. The choice is yours. The ship will honor it. But remember, once you leave, the storm outside will not wait. Life moves on human. But if you stay, Scythia's voice was playful, teasing. You will never be alone, and you will never be the same. I looked out at the viewport. Beyond, the stars stretched endlessly, each one a promise, a danger, a mystery. And I realized that, for the first time, I was not afraid. I stay, I said. The ship hummed in approval, a soft vibration that resonated through my bones. The storm had brought me here, yes, but it had not broken me. I was no longer just a human scout, vulnerable and fragile. I was part of something greater, part of a living vessel, part of a consciousness that spanned galaxies. The three women smiled. It was not human smiles, yet it conveyed warmth, welcome, and something deeper, acceptance. For the first time in my life, I felt home. And as the ship drifted further into the endless cosmos, I knew the storm outside could rage or die. It no longer mattered. I was trapped, yes, but not against my will. Trapped with alien women, yes, but companions, guides, and friends beyond comprehension. And somehow, impossibly, it was perfect.